So I took this thing for its first test yesterday with the new Welded Diff in it. By the way, welcome back to the channel. This is my 1981 Toyota Corolla 1.6 SE 5-speed liftback. And as you can see, it is a shit box. I just sort of have it, it owes me nothing, so now I am enjoying it, for those of you that are new here and do not know what exactly this thing is. But back to the task at hand. Yesterday I took this thing for its first test after installing a welded differential, and it went rather poorly, and I want to redeem myself. Now mostly it just came down to a skill issue. I just did not know what to do with the new characteristics of the car now that the rear differential is locked, and well, I need to practice. But some mechanical things went wrong as well. I boiled the clutch fluid, I overheated it, mostly because a bunch of grass gummed up the radiator, and my tachometer and I think the fuel gauge as well. No, just my tachometer stopped working. But those are things that I can live with for now, and I do not have time to troubleshoot, especially the tachometer right now. But if I go in here, one slightly larger thing went wrong. If I look down there, don't know how well you can see it, but there is supposed to be a bolt holding that alternator onto the engine. Well, not a bolt, a nut. The nut fell off and then the bolt started wiggling itself out. Luckily the bolt is still there. Now I just need to put the bolt back into its spot and secure it with, this time, a nylock nut. Because it goes without saying, but if my alternator were to fall off, that would be bad. So it was a bit of a challenge to get the right bolt for that, because Toyota, being Toyota, decided to use a funny thread pitch, so I could only find one bolt, and it was not a nylock. So I'm going to have to sometime make a trip to the bolt and nut shop, get another stud, get another bolt, all new hardware, just so I can get a proper nylock bolt on there. Anyhow, the alternator is attached again, so that issue is solved. The rest of the issues will be solved when I feel like getting to them and have the time to get to them, and I have made some progress on the Opel. Anyways, back to the topic. I just need to do one more quick thing before I head out, and that is change the tire pressures. The tire pressures in the rear are currently both sides 2 bar, and I feel like they're just a little bit too grippy for my current skill level, so I'm going to pump them up to 2.5 bar. Yes, that will cost me grip, and yes, that will make the rear end even more twitchy and reactive, but it will make it slightly less reactive to any throttle input, because now that I have the lock differential, I basically need to steer with my right foot throughout the corners as I did before, but now it's a lot more twitchy, a lot more sensitive, and it's not a question of, okay, you can do that to go faster and to have more fun. You actually do have to do that, otherwise you'll just oversteer and end up in the bush. You won't oversteer, you will understeer. I don't know if any of y'all have seen that TikTok trend or sort of that meme by now, where you just do something random to your car and you just haha, tuning. That's how I feel every time I put the valve caps on this, because just to be funny, I put TRD valve caps on all the shit boxes. So this thing and the white shit box Hilux in the back have them as well. Ignition is on. Just gotta pull the choke for good measure. Alrighty, sun is getting low, I better get a move on, so 1, 2. Can't forget my gloves this time. If you don't have a helmet, get a helmet first, but once you've got a helmet, get yourself some racing gloves, because not only do they make you look cool and feel equally as cool as you look, but they're actually, well, these first race ones are really comfortable, and in the event of an oopsie, if your car were to catch fire or you need to violently exit the car, they do protect your hands, because they are Nomex and padded and fireproof. Anyhow, just to get used to this thing, and because of how overgrown this track is that I normally use, I'm just going to focus on linking these 4 or 5, I believe it's 5 curves. Just going to focus on them, on those. They're nice. It's a nice slow speed section, so I can get used to the transition of the weight in the car and how the back end steps out without worrying too much about my speed, how fast I'm going and how much momentum I'm carrying. Obviously all of those still factor in,
but on a low speed section a bit less so, and the G-forces and the overall forces that you experience and that you exert on the car are also much less. So for getting used to the car, I think this would be the best tactic. Also, driving through all of that overgrown stuff, if you haven't watched the previous video, you can go watch it up there. With how overgrown it was, it clogged up the radiator, the car overheated. It wasn't a good time, so I'm just going to stop using that part of the track essentially. Anyhow, without any further ado, window up and let's get to going. My tacho stopped working. Now hitting this section in reverse is quite fun because you go straight into that slow speed hairpin, low grip hairpin, and then you transition straight into a nice sweeper, so you can really play around with mastering transitioning the weight of the car without unsettling it or straightening up. So I quite like doing this, even though for some reason I drive it better unreversed. Remember not to carry too much speed in here. It'll wash out, chuck it in, throttle it, bring it around. Catch it, keep it, yes! Lift up, again, yes! Yes! Okay, let's start from the straightaway so I can work in a handbrake turn on that 90. Slow down, downshift, missed the gear, hit the gear, down, careful not to malbound, my tacho isn't working, slow down, look down, truck is getting warm, scrape up a lot of speed, chuck it in, slow it down, and spin out, clutch in. Hit your head against the side of the vehicle. This is always the corner that catches me because it's like glass. For some reason, there's just zero grip on this hairpin. I think take it for a quick cool down. As I said, the clutch is getting warm because since I've got the welded diff in, this car just works so much harder than it ever has. The added grip, the added G-forces, the added forces working on it. The engine has never loaded up like it's loading up now. This poor thing is putting in all of the work, so I've got to take care of it if I want to keep it. Before, when I was open diff, it was worry-free, trouble-free. Don't ever worry about it, it's not working that hard, it'll be fine. Not the case anymore. So if you're ever going to chuck a welded diff in your car, for the first time at least, keep in mind you might ruin the car, and no matter what you do, the car is going to work much harder and brake much quicker and easier. that grip. Almost choked it out trying to power it out of that slide. Mostly because I was in third gear. Dickhead. Neutral, handbrake. No, never put the handbrake up if your brakes are warm. You don't want to warp your discs, or in my case, drums. Just walk through, walk around, make sure all the tires are still inflated. Car does not seem to be on fire, but it's leaking oil from somewhere. Ah, bother. What is that? Gosh, I'll have to pop the hood. It's leaking something from somewhere. Is it the diff? Is it the engine? Is it coolant? Did I boil it again? What's going on? It's not boiling, it's not overheating, it's still an operating temp. I've still got oil pressure. I checked the gauge just now. What the hell was that? Could it be? Is my breather overflowing? Is the catch can overflowing? Did it just spill from the G-forces? Okay, one last run and then I gotta go then. Gotta check that out before it causes a problem. Alright, let's take this from the top. Gosh, just maybe wipe the screen a bit. That's slightly better. I probably should get some wiper sprayers on this thing just to help when I'm full of dust like this, so I don't have to get out and manually clean the windscreen. That might be a good idea. Gosh, yeah, it's got volts, temp's good, oil pressure's good, gloves are excellent, nice easy takeoff, so there's no axle bounce. And let's get this! Let the weight throw the back of the car out. Catch it here, scrub off speed. Catch it, and lose it. Ah. Car's getting warm, so it's not quite as responsive as I want it. This thing does a thing where as soon as it gets warm and you load it up, it just chokes out. That's probably just a thing with the carb, or rather a thing with the 36 DCD I got on here. I might be starving it due to the G's. Maybe it's something with the actual heat, where something's going cattywampus. But mostly that was driver error that's spinning out just now. So let me turn around, head home, and give this old girl a rest. Shit. That was almost a kerfuffle.
Oh yeah, that was how I wanted this thing to feel. I feel so much better now. I think I just needed to get over that wrong words, rephrase, rethink. I needed to psych myself back in, because I think I was psyching myself out, getting myself worked up over the new diff. Oh no, it's going to be so tricky now, it's going to break the car, etc, etc, etc. So I didn't have that confidence, I didn't believe, as a Disney movie might say. With that being said, I'd be lying if I didn't touch on the fact that this car is no longer as long-winded as it always was, and it never will be again. But even though it is a bit sad right now, I'll live with it. I still get more than enough time out of this thing. I'll just have to keep that in mind, that if I'm going to push it too hard, that I just shouldn't. Now on the itinerary for this thing, obviously fixing the tacho and the small issues that I picked up and the leak that it sprung just now. I need to get my WAMSA license so I can compete in the RPT grassroots event, and I need to get to some more of these rally for fun events. I also want to do a bunch of skid pans like at Swartkops and at Red Star. I greatly look forward to that. So I need to drive this thing now. In the future I might do some more work to it, like add a 10-litre fuel cell, improve a few things, get a brake bias adjuster, maybe even a line lock for extra tomfoolery. But I'm very happy with this thing as it sits right now. Just need to fix the few things that I broke. One small thing though, I really do need to take it for an alignment. I feel that this is necessary, and I do know that the alignment tech is going to be rather... The poor alignment tech that needs to lay their hands on this is not going to be psyched. I know that the poor alignment tech that is going to have to touch that thing is not going to be very excited about it, but it needs an alignment. I want it to have an alignment, then she'll be right. For those of you that kept watching to the end, thank you very much for watching the video. Thank you for tuning in. Let me know what you want to see more of, what you want to see less of. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you all in the next one. Cheers. Hello fishes. Food. Food.